In 1971, an old show came to Broadway, but it felt like a new show. It was called No Nanette. Yes! I got the pleasure to direct it this summer at the College Light Opera Company in West Falmouth, Massachusetts. If you're up there, take a look at it. We're so lucky that we have one of the original cast members of that incredible revival with us. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome you. Where is he? Where is he? There he is, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ed Dixon.
When I was about 20, I went to NOLA rehearsal studios on West 57th Street to audition for Cherry, the musical version of Bus Stop, starring Paula Wayne. Running the audition was the infamous Buster Davis, one of the only musical directors in the history of Broadway to have so much power that he could cast the entire ensemble of a Broadway show without running it past the director or anyone else. To call Buster eccentric would be an insult to hyperbole. Taped to the door of the boys' open call was a handwritten sign by Buster which read, 1, if I say thank you, that means you were no good and you can leave. 2, if I say call back, you'll return next Thursday. 3, if I say kiss me, run for your life. This was taped to the door of the boys' open call for a Broadway show. It was another time. And what did I choose to sing for Buster Davis for this hip, edgy, new adaptation of Bus Stop? A syrupy 1937 ballad by Jerome Kern. You are the promised kiss of springtime that makes the lonely winter seem long. I get to the end of it, Buster's eyes bug out and he says, where did you learn how to do that? Which I, of course, took as a great compliment. But what he actually meant was, what, did you just step out of a time machine? Fortunately, Buster liked old-fashioned singing. He hired me for the musical version of Bus Stop. I was making my Broadway debut, and I was ecstatic for about 2 days. Then Buster called me at home. We've lost our capitalization. Sorry, sweetie. I ran out of money, gave up my rent-controlled apartment and my Broadway dreams, and set off for California to do musicals in Hollywood. Yes, I was that dumb. I stopped off halfway across the country at Casa Mañana in Fort Worth, Texas to do 8 musicals in the round. I was rehearsing one of them with Betty Buckley when she took a phone call at the old wooden phone booth in the corner of the green room. She stuck her head out and said, Ed, it's for you. I picked up the receiver and heard, hi, honey. Want to do a Broadway show? It was Buster Davis asking me to do No Nanette with Ruby Keeler and Busby Berkeley. He'd called my old phone number, found it was disconnected. He called the union. The union said they didn't have a number for me, but they had a contract on me in Texas. Buster looked up the green room phone number at Casa Mañana and called me in Texas to offer me No Nanette and bring me back to Broadway. It's now 50 years and 15 Broadway shows later, and I have my entire life, career, and pension to thank Buster Davis for. The first day of rehearsal for No Nanette, I was shocked to learn that Busby Berkeley, the famous movie director, was in his middle 80s and practically comatose. So it was actually Burt Shevelove who was directing the show. He'd also rewritten the book and just happened to be best friends with Stephen Sondheim. Many years later, I'm rehearsing Sunday in the park, and Sondheim says to me, "How did you like my good friend Burt Shevelove?" And I said, "Well, I was 20, and he was 60. And at the opening night party at the St. Regis, he got really drunk and kissed me on the staircase." And Sondheim said, "Where's your staircase?" I was also shocked on the first day of rehearsal to find out that Irving Caesar, the lyricist of No Nanette, was still alive. And with us at rehearsal every day with a stogie clenched in his teeth. All he wanted to do was tell show business stories to the young'uns. From him, I learned the backstory on Tea for Two. In 1924, Vincent Youmans had asked him for a lyric for the big soft shoe number, but Irving was in a hurry, so he just jotted down tea for two and two for tea and me for you and you for me, and sent it to Youmans with a note saying, "This is just a dummy lyric. I'll come back and write the real one later." But Youmans wrote him back and said, "No, I love this," and said it just as it was. They both had enormous careers, but the most successful song of either of their lives was Tea for Two, which was written in 10 seconds and made both of them fantastically wealthy. Ruby Keeler and Patsy Kelly were old friends from the Warner Brother days in Hollywood, where they'd done all those Busby Berkeley movies. All during rehearsals, we would see the two of them standing in the corner whispering and looking terrified because neither of them had performed in decades. Ruby, who was enormously self-effacing, got more sure of herself as we rehearsed. Then she started to pull out her more high-end clothing. She went to Vidal Sassoon's and got a $1,000 haircut. And finally, she showed up in a full-length black glamour mink. We watched her turn from a sweet golf-playing grandma into a Broadway star. Patsy Kelly, who was Tallulah Bankhead's paramour, always looked like a sack of potatoes. But as we rehearsed, she got funnier and funnier until by opening night, she was getting a laugh on every single line. Every night after the show, Patsy would go to Ruby's dressing room and pour both of them an iced tea glass this big, full of gin, and then delicately plop one tiny ice cube in the top of each glass every night. Also every night, before the big tap number, Ruby's sister, Gertrude, would get down on her hands and knees and help Ruby into her tap shoes. One night, one of the boys asked Gertrude why she was doing this for her sister, and she said, "During the Depression, Ruby kept the whole family alive with her movie money. It's the least I could do." I loved Gertrude. At the 10-year anniversary party, I pulled her aside and said, "Gertrude, you know you were always my favorite." And she said, "Oh, I know, dear." I'm gonna do the end of Act 1 for you guys, and I'm gonna play all the parts. Nanette, Tom, Patsy Kelly, and the whole ensemble. I hope. When we first opened, one of the critics said, The guy playing the juvenile was like a block of cement playing a wooden Indian. I'm gonna try to capture that for you this evening. Here's the setup. It's the end of Act 1, the finaletto, everyone's on stage. Tom and Nanette are having their first big fight in front of everyone. Tom says to Nanette,
I forbid you to go, Nanette.
You forbid me. Ha! I am oh so bored of my life. I am off to lead the high life. Has anybody got a cigarette?
You better slow up until you grow up.
You wait and see, I'll be the new Nanette. I will have a motor car and vintage wine and caviar and sables, and you ain't seen nothing yet.
Don't be a fool, girl. You're just a schoolgirl.
The most pretentious brat I ever met, and you are the biggest flat tire I ever met.
How are you gonna pay for all those expensive things?
I have $200.
No decent woman has $200. Where did you get it?
None of your beeswax.
Then you can go fly a kite.
No, no, Nanette, that's all I hear. I hear it the whole day through. No, no, Nanette, it's in my ear, no matter what I may do. Someday, perhaps, I'll have my way when I am old and turning gray. But until then, it's always no, 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 no. Where are you going?
And then Patsy Kelly jumps in. She's off to visit her grandmother in Trenton, New Jersey. And then everybody sings. But until then, it's always no,